Hi everyone. In this video, I would like to show you how to add a meter to your SolarEdge inverter system. This is the WattNode Modbus electrical metering system. The purpose of this device is to measure how much is your usage of your electricity in your house, and it does this by observing the inputs. There is a couple of inputs here, particularly this particular wire right here and this wire here. Both of these wires comes from this cable here that's going up. You'll see that it clamps into the two main phases, or legs they call it sometimes, that goes into my house. So those are the two cables that goes to my house. This is not the ground or the neutral wire. These are hot, two hots. So both of these combined makes 240 volts. So there's a clamp already placed for each leg. The clamp is a U-shaped sensor with a cap or top that goes on top of it, and they just clamp on like that. And there's two cables that goes to the meter, and they go on to this particular side here. This particular meter can actually accommodate for 3 phases, but my house only have 2 phases, so we only connect the black and the red. And the polarity on this particular meter does matter. So make sure that you follow the white on top, the black on the second, white on top, and then the black one also at the bottom. If you have a 3-phase system, you would connect the white and the black here to the white and the black here also. That means in a 3-phase system, there would be 3 large cable like these that you will clamp, so that you have 3 pairs of cable. Okay, so the next thing that I would like to explain is on the right side of the meter. So on the right side of the meter, this is where the actual power comes in to make the meter work. If you have a 3-phase, you put in all the 3 legs here. This is similar to how we have the 3 legs for the sensors, but except here the 3 legs are the actual power itself to actually supply power for this particular meter device to work. So since my house only has two legs or 2-phase, we are only using the black and the white. Now this is live, so I'm not going to touch it too close. So you be careful that to make sure that you know that this is live, and to when you're working on this, to make sure you turn off the breaker so that you don't get electrocuted. Okay, so I'm using regular extension cable that I have stripped the end 2 inches, and I'm using there's 3 wires inside this cable. I'm using all 3. So I'm using the white for one of the leg, I'm using the black right here for the other leg, and for neutral I'm using the green cable here. So on the other side of the orange cable, you'll notice that I put in the white to a different circuit breaker than the black. So the black goes to one circuit breaker, and this is sharing, by the way. You can tell that at the plug there's actually already a wire that is going to here, but I just plug in this additional wire here in tandem or together, squeeze together. It doesn't really matter because the load, the electrical requirement, the power requirement to go through these two cables to power this guy or this meter is so small that it doesn't really matter. I think this meter consumes like maybe 1.5 watt or something like that. Something so small, it doesn't matter. So the purpose of getting these power source from two different circuit breaker instead of having this white cable, for example, to be plugged into the to this guy right here or to this screw right here, is because the way that the most circuit breaker works is that there are two behind this, which I cannot show you because they're all covered. It works like this. This one is from phase 1, this is from phase 2. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 1, phase 2, and so forth. So if this one is phase 1, this one is phase 2 on the left and the right. So they're always alternate. In this particular case, if you want two phase, you would either get it from one on top of each other, or you can get two phase by connecting from one from the left and one from the right. That's how you get two phase to create 240 volts. Most appliances is 120 volt, which means that it's only a single phase. So that's why it's wired like that. This is just a regular single phase. Anyhow, this video is not about education regarding single phase or dual phase, but instead this is how to install the WattNode Modbus for the SolarEdge inverter. Okay, so those are the basic installation that I've already explained, and I'm gonna go to the next part of the installation, which is the actual RJ45 or Cat5 cable that I use. So this cable here is a regular Cat5 computer network cable. Since we only need 3 wires out of the 8 wires that comes with a regular Cat5, I have simply just snip off all the other wires. And typically, you see here there's purple, orange, and green. Usually, the color is not purple. That is supposed to be blue. I don't know why this cable is purple, but it works the same way, of course. And on the WattNode, there is an indicator here for A-, B+, and C. This is in a typical RS45 485 labeling. It's supposed to say BAG. Again, on the top is B as in boy or blue, A as in apple, G as in George or green. Okay, so it's supposed to be BAG. So I use blue here for the B, and for the orange is for the A, and then the green for the G. That's all you need to do to wire the WattNode side of the RS485 connection bus. And also I would like to note that there is a dip switch. That's all is required for wiring the 485 bus. Now I would like to explain about the dip switch here. This is, it looks intimidating, but it's actually pretty simple. So if this is the only device on your 485 bus or line, you would put this on device ID 1. To select device ID 1, you would have the switch 1 turn on, and then everything else is off. to configure this device as device ID 2, which is what I have it set to right now, you would have everything off and then just device number 2, switch number 2 on. So that's what I have right now is this is set to device number 2. Now, let's go on the other side to show you how the RJ45 or Cat. Okay, so you see this cable, this Cat5 cable, it goes up here and connects to this inverter's 485 connector. You notice there's two Cat5 cable here. The one that is from the meter is only the one at the back. The one on the front, I'll explain to you why there is two here. You can ignore this one, but I'll just explain to you why that's there, just in case you're curious. This one connects to my other inverter because I was trying to create a master and slave system. But I realized later on, and for those of you that is wondering also, do you need to have a master and slave system when you connect, if you connect both of your SolarEdge inverter using RJ45? So both of my inverter has this white cable. These are Cat5 to my network. As you can see, it's blinking, it's working. This is Ethernet. When you have your inverter already connected to the internet via Ethernet Cat5 to your network, you do not need to have your master and slave anymore, because all of these is just going to report to the monitoring system in the cloud at the SolarEdge monitoring independently. And this is, the master and slave is useful if you're using cellular, if you're using one of these card right here and you're using cellular and you do not want to pay for a card or cellular connection for every single one of the inverter. That way you can chain them together using master and slave, and I think you can chain a lot. I don't know exactly how many, but you can chain a lot of them. That way you can save money for your communication. But in this particular case, I actually made a mistake. I actually don't need this master and slave system anymore because it does not work. After I plug in my meter here and I configure my SolarEdge inverter to communicate with my Modbus meter, my master and slave actually got disabled. And I realized that that was not the right way to do it. Anyhow, so let me show you how to configure the SolarEdge inverter. If you already have, let me actually put on the cover back because it is much harder to configure with the cover off. Okay, to configure your Modbus, please make sure everything is plugged in, and then you would want to enter the password 123 123 12, and then go down to communication, press OK, go down to RS485-1 because we plugged the cables into port 1 of the RS45, which is on the left side, the left BAG that is. Press OK. Mine is already done, and so what you want to do is select device type, and then you would want to select multi-devices. Okay, and then press OK, and it says selected multi-devices. And then you would want to go down to meter 1, press OK again, and then select revenue meter, press OK. And then once you select revenue meter, it will try to detect. This is when the meter, before you pair it with the inverter, this light would actually blink red, or solid red, not blink. It was solid red until you actually do the communication settings on the inverter. Now, after it has been identified, it will show you that the device type is meter, protocol is WattNode, device ID 2, CD rating 100. We leave everything the same or default. Here, meter function, we need to change this. I am going to try to, not try actually, I know this works already. I'm going to select export and import because I would like to monitor all the power generation that is being done from both of the inverter. And I also would like to record or sense the import, which is we're importing power when the power is coming from the grid. Okay, so we would like to basically meter both export and import. So this is the one that we would like to select. Okay, and then it'll go back to this menu. If you scroll down, there's one more setting here. Okay, so we were just doing meter function. E plus I means export import. Topology, leave it at WIE. PT scaling, leave it at 1. And now we're back again looping around the setting. So you can press escape, go back, go back, go back, and right now it's night time, so that's why it goes back to night mode. Typically, if this was during the day and your inverter is actually switched on, it'll actually show you all the regular settings or a status about your generation, production, and things like that. But anyhow, right now, that's all you need to do. Once everything is up and running, you should be able to, actually there's one more thing I need to show you. You can actually go back to the menu and go to information. This is a good way for you to confirm if you have proper communication. So you go to a place called information and then go to hardware ID. You'll see the serial number of your meter will show up here. And this is the same serial number that you will see here. You see that? 380556 and 380556. So this is a very good way for you to confirm that the inverter is reading your meter properly. Now the reason why I bought this WattNode Modbus is because I bought this much cheaper than the actual SolarEdge meter, because I think SolarEdge actually buys the meter from this company called Continental Control or something like that. Let me see. Yeah, Continental Control System LLC. I bought this from eBay and it cost me about $70 with shipping, and it works great. So I'm going to show you what it looks like on the phone when there is metering enabled. My app, the SolarEdge monitoring app, actually looks different and it's awesome. Let me show you what it looks like. Okay, this is the SolarEdge app, and I just want to show you that. Nice. Just when I'm about to say I'm gonna show you, it just turns off. Hold on a second. Okay, we're back. All right, so basically, before I hook on the meter, let me show you what it looks like before. No data available. Nice. Okay. Yes, this is what my graph used to look like day after day. Just production data. How much power I generate out of those panels. And then the first day that I had the meter hooked up, Forgot what was the problem. Oh, the first day that I got the meter hooked up is when I had the problem thinking the master and slave was providing data to the internet, to the cloud, but it wasn't. I actually disabled my production data to be sent. So the only thing I got was consumption. And then finally I figured it out. I disabled the master and slave, and then I'm starting to get both production data, which is the data here in green or blue, and I also have the consumption data, which is the amount of electrical usage that we use, and is showing in red. So now this is a graph from today, I think. No, that was yesterday. Yeah, from yesterday you'll see that in the morning we started off with consumption, and then we have sun, so therefore we had some self-consumption here, and then we have some export even during noontime, and then we have a lot of self-consumption, and we have no more sun. I don't have a lot of panels hooked up, so we started to use just grid power again all throughout the day. And this is what it looks like today. We have a lot more self-consumption, so that we have 4.27 self-consumption, and the export is 0, so I didn't export anything today. That's kind of strange because I do see some green here, but anyway, I'm not sure what's going on. But today I use 25 kilowatt, and that's what my my graph looked like. So I'm just happy to see that I'm able to know at any given time how much is my family using, how much are we using on our electrical needs at any given moment, and to see how much of that particular need is being taken care of. The dashboard of the app also have changed. After I hook on the meter, I have these 3 icons here on top. Right now it's nighttime and there is no generation from the solar panel, but during the day when there's generation of the solar panel, this turns green. And then sometimes when I'm actually exporting, whoops, let me turn that back on again. When I'm actually generating power, there's going to be a arrow here, green arrow, that goes to the house, and this arrow right here sometimes will point towards the house, sometimes it would point towards the grid. When there's green arrow pointing towards the grid, that means I'm exporting power to the grid. And this bottom part also shows a smaller version of the chart, but it does show how much percent of self-consumption and how much percent of self-consumption versus my total consumption, which is very useful. Yeah, so like today, my solar saves me 14% out of my self-consumption. Yesterday, my solar panel saved me 18% out of my total self-consumption. That's because yesterday's sun was a lot better than today. 8.14 kilowatt, even though I used a lot more yesterday at 37. Today, the sun only generated 4.27 kilowatt, but I used only 29, a little bit less. Well, that's it. That's my video showing you how great it is to have the SolarEdge metering system. I think having this unit really give me visibility of how much I use, and it's really useful to gauge my solar system, how effective it is. And just for around $70 and some cables and about an hour of my time, is really totally worth it to add this data to the SolarEdge monitoring system. I hope you like this video. Please do subscribe, as I plan to make more videos like this about the solar panel, solar system. I also would like to demonstrate how I did my ground mount solar panel system that I think I save a lot of money on, and I can share that with the YouTube community. So please subscribe. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and thank you for watching.